Hello, friends. I am Chevee. Welcome to my shed. How are you today? How's life in your world? How's things where you are? I hope it's fantastic and wonderful. Everything here is pretty great. It is. It snowed again last night, so the kids are still here. This is a week and 2 days now without school due to weather and climate. So, they're going to be here for a while yet anyway. They're going to be living here for a while yet because of other concerns, but it's been interesting to have them here for like full time for 10, 12 days, whatever it's been. But it's great. It's going to be like single digits this week, so they'll probably have 2 hour delays anyway. When it's below like 20 degrees or something like that, they'll often call a delay just so kids don't have to stand in the cold waiting on the bus. The funny thing is, a 2 hour delay here, my oldest goes to high school, and high school starts at like 7:20 or something like that. So a 2 hour delay to 9:20, it's not any warmer. It's like 1 degree warmer in those 2 hours. So I don't really know what the point is. But whatever. So we're stuck, kinda. I mean, I could get out if I needed to. I don't need to. Like, I have plenty of food, plenty of stuff to, do here. They've got Em went and picked up a PS4 from her brother this weekend because my youngest has been asking for a PS for her room. So they both have, and so we took his PS4, reconditioned it, took M's PS4 and put them in the kids' room. So they each have a PS4 now. They can play whenever they want. They can just live in those rooms, and we're keeping ourselves entertained. I am going a little bit crazy because I want to come down here and work, but of course I have a job, so I can't just come down here and work. I record this show usually at lunchtime, so that's a little bit of time in this space. And then I don't get off work usually until 4 or a little after, depending on what I get stuck in. And then sometime between 4 and 10 o'clock is usually when I go to bed. I make dinner, I feed everybody, I edit the show, I put it up, that sort of thing. And so there's only a few hours that I can really come down here and work, and I want to, but it's freezing cold. It's not nearly as cold as it is outside, but it's cold enough that working with the jointer and the tables, like working on cast iron surfaces, my fingers get really cold. And I'm not a big fan of wearing gloves when using power tools, but this is rough cut lumber, and so it's pretty splintery. So a lot of times I will wear gloves, but it just makes the whole process a little more difficult. I have a tiny little I don't know, whatever this thing is. Can you see it? Yeah, I have one of these tiny little, some number of watt heater, 1500 watt heater, that if I'm standing in front of it, it'll keep me warm. And if I have something here and finish, it'll help the finish cure, but it doesn't really warm this space up that much. It'll increase the temperature here like between 2 and 5 degrees, just depending on how cold it is. And so, but I have to let it run for like an hour before it even starts to do anything. So by the time all that happens, I can't come down here and work. So I want to, and maybe tonight I will spend some time down here, because when I find that I can't do what I want to do, I want to finish this project. This is going to be shelves. To point out something that Jonathan asked, could I do something with the sniped end to accommodate the snipe, like cover it up or put it on the bottom side of the shelf? Yes, I could, but I generally plane these boards on both sides, so they're snipe on both sides. And these are going to be basically a square, or a rectangular box with a shelf across the middle. That shelf is going to live in a dado, so I need the two ends of these shelf boards to be the exact right thickness to fit the dado. Or I'd be trying to make different dados, because snipe is never precise, right? It's always a little bit different based on the board. Some of these boards, like this board here, has a little bit of a twist in it, which I will tweak out when it goes in the dado. It's part of the reason why I want to use the dados. But So I need to do all of that. I need to cuddle this down, do all that stuff. But what I really might do, since I don't really want to work with the tools with gloves on, it's cold as hell. When I have a project like this that this is what I want to be doing and I can't, I tend to end up watching a lot of YouTube. And lately I have been watching a lot of shop organization projects because I think you guys know that my shop is not organized. And part of the reason is I don't have enough storage space. Like I have a couple of drills or a couple of drawers under my drill press that hold bits and stuff. I have one big drawer down there that holds bandsaw blades, and the top drawer holds bits and other things. I have the 6 drawers that I built right behind where you are last year or the year before that live in some cubbies. There were cubbies. I have some cubbies back here that are basically not being utilized properly. They're supposed to be used for larger power tools like circular saws and stuff. I just don't have it in there yet. So I took one of those, turned it sideways, built some drawers to hold some stuff. I have my hardware storage area, and that's it for like drawery type things. I don't have any other drawery type things in here. I have the outfeed bench. This cubby thing is supposed to replace the outfeed table because it's a piece of crap, and I would like to build something a little bit more useful on that side of the table saw, and maybe even include more, like make that more of an assembly area, because this table needs to go away. It needs to be shrunk widthwise and made a little bit better because it's just too much in the way in this tiny little space. But I have room to make I have room to put drawers. Underneath my workbench is just a shelf that could be drawers. There's a miter saw. The other side of the miter saw station could be drawers. There's a whole lot of space that I'm not utilizing properly. And I tend to be, it's not that I enjoy mess. It's that I tend to be the person that I set something somewhere, and that's just kind of where it lives now. And it'll go back there. And I don't really stop and think about the process of, is that the most efficient place to store that? Or, am I chasing my tail in here as I work? And so I watch a lot of videos that encourage you to reorganize and put things in a little bit more retrievable space so that you can get to things easily. Right now, I have like drills and stuff back here, one bottle of wood glue back here, I have more bottles of wood glue over there. All of my hardware is over there. So if I tend to work here because I've got the nice light angle from the floodlight that I use for recording. I can really see surface defects and stuff from that light. So I tend to work on this side of the table, which means if I want to get to my hardware storage, I have to move this table out of my way, move the camera thing, get over there, dig through. So it's all kind of it's not set up properly. And I should really stop and think about a lot of that. Instead of just living with it and accepting it the way that it is. I made my hardware boxes at least so that I could pull them out and set them over here, set them on the drill press table or whatever. But I find that I don't normally do that. They normally just sit on the miter saw bench, and then when I want to use the miter saw, they're in the way. And like I said, these guys just kind of live here because that's where I set them. They're in the way all the time. I have to put them up on the drill. They need a space. They need to have a place. I've got this tool wall they could go on. I could build something like a hanging sort of thing down here or underneath this bench where they could live, and I could easily get to them. That's probably the place they should go. But again, I want to rebuild this. So I might just spend some time down here, honestly, just planning upgrades. Like, I would love to build an under my table saw wing cabinet that holds table saw blades, all my push blocks, all that sort of stuff, because I don't really have a good space for that. I have some blades hanging up on the wall. I have some on the side of the table saw. Push blocks are constantly moving around because I use either the micro jig that Jonathan sent or the Tim Sway push stick the most, and so one of them will get sit over here, one will sit over here, and I have to, I might just sit down here and think about how I want to reorganize, because I think reorganizing would be very, very beneficial. So maybe I will spend a little bit of time down here tonight prepping. I have like 3 or 4 sheets of 3/4 inch plywood that I bought years ago. When I built M's desk, I bought extra. And I could really put that to use making some good storage solutions. I also need to build a new router table because I've destroyed my old one. I have a little one down here, but cold. So we'll see. And maybe I'll do some videos on that. Maybe I won't. I don't know. I have successfully disconnected my brain from the I'm going to do something, I should talk about it. I used to have that connected. Like, if I was going to come down here and work, I wanted it to be on camera so I could talk about it. I wanted it to be a video. I wanted it to, like, oh, I'm going to do something that's worth talking about or worth sharing. And a lot of times that got in my way of actually coming down here and getting work done, because what I really need to do is just do the thing, and talking about it is no, right? So I have successfully managed to disconnect those two parts of my brain. I'm now more than happy to come down here and work and never show it on camera. But part of me does miss some of that. So maybe I will start doing, when I start doing shop upgrade stuff, I might do some little, like, I'm doing it for this reason. Not necessarily here's how to build a set of drawers to put under a cabinet, but here's what I did and here's why. We'll see. Thank you for being here as always. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, being amazing friends and wonderful people. I really appreciate you. And I'll see you again tomorrow. Today's word you should know to sound smart is kismet. It is a noun meaning fate or destiny. Elaine's parvenu background hardly seemed destined to make her part of our group, but kismet has made her an important social contact. Kismet, K-I-S-M-E-T. Kismet is a Magic the Gathering card from the early days. That's how I know that word.